Hey Steve. Hope everything's fine with the audio. Hey Alex, great that you're here. That's a little introduction. So maybe some of you recognize this tune. Hey Victoria, great that you're here from Mexico. That's fantastic. Comping with harmonica, that's a great topic. I will definitely keep that in mind. So hi everyone, welcome to the second live stream here on the YouTube channel of Hohner. Last week or like 2 weeks ago, I did the live stream from Hamburg. Now I'm in Cologne. In fact, today was one of the hottest days ever. It was 40 degrees Celsius. So let me know how hot it was in your city and where you're from. And maybe you can write in the comments if you already saw the live stream I did 2 weeks ago, if you were live or if you just saw it afterwards. So, yeah, thank you, Steve. The song I played is a beautiful old jazz standard. It's called On the Sunny Side of the Street, which is very bluesy. And a lot of you asked about, playing jazz on the diatonic harmonica. This is an easy song, and it's in the C scale on the C harmonica. So maybe I will get into that. But of course, all the time, you can just write your questions into the chat, and I would love to answer them, so I want this to be as interactive as possible. If you haven't done so already, I also posted the link in the chat, so you can spread that to other people who might be interested in watching today. And you can always watch these episodes afterwards too, so that's no problem either. So at the same time, down in the description box, there's a Facebook link. There's a group I created, so we can exchange about future topics for this, because I'm doing this every 2 weeks from now on. So today is an exception. Today's Wednesday, and the usual day I will do this will be Thursday. So Thursdays at 9 p.m. every 2 weeks, starting 2 weeks. So you can mark that in your calendar, and it's always the same date. Not always the same place, but the same YouTube channel. Okay, Brazil. 36, that's pretty good. Celsius, yeah. I definitely want to get into improvisation, yeah. So, especially over this song maybe. And I hope everything's fine with the audio and the backing track and my harmonica playing mixed well. So please let me know in the comments. But yeah, so that would be a nice topic, I think. We had a little poll in the Facebook group. So a lot of people asked for playing jazz on the diatonic harmonica. So yeah, that's basically what I was doing. And I want to talk about improvisation over this too. So this song is called "On the Sunny Side of the Street." So yeah, let me know if you heard about it. There are beautiful versions of it. You could check out Sonny Stitt's version of this song. Great solos. I even transcribed one of them. So maybe I can upload that to the Facebook group. So I will upload some lesson material basically to the Facebook group too. So definitely join it if you're on Facebook. Okay. Oh yeah, so playing the harmonica outside of blues and jazz. That's a question by Steve. So it's funny. So maybe it's also interesting to talk about my beginnings. So very early on, I saw a harmonica player on TV, on German TV, in a talent show, which was basically like America's Got Talent. And that guy was playing harmonica, and I was 13 years old, and I was fascinated by the sound of the instrument, and he was playing evergreens. Not the coolest kind of music for a 13-year-old, but the sound was amazing and very personal and very emotional. So I started to do that, and then I got into blues. And then I got into jazz, because that's the only stuff you see on the internet. But yeah, so there's definitely so much stuff you can play. I just got into classical music, and I have a classical album out with a pianist, Benjamin Nuss. Maybe I can post that in the Facebook group, where we play some Bach flute sonatas and stuff. So that's possible. You can play every kind of music on the harmonica. So a big part of that is, or a big thing that can lead you to that, is improvisation. And yeah, I would just start out with this song, "On the Sunny Side of the Street." This is my C harmonica. It's a Hohner instrument. It's a bit of a mongrel. Let me know which instrument you play. I'm very curious. So this is a marine band essentially, but it has the Special 20 cover plates. I like them a lot because my hands are pretty small, and I don't like the sides of the covers to be opened. So in some cases that's amazing because it sounds good for you. But yeah, the tone is focused a little more, I think. Okay, great that the audio and the video is fine. Yeah. So yeah, that's the melody one more time. Just playing along to my snapping. So that's a big exercise and a good one for everything you do. Snapping along and just involving your body. So I would say that rhythm is really the most important aspect, the most important part of music. And if you break down melody and harmony, you will also notice that it's basically just made up of rhythms and rhythms overlaying each other. Great, Mark. Super, dass du auch hier bist. So it's very rhythmically focused. And I try to do these snapping exercises a lot, and also just, change hands. So I sometimes play the harmonica in my left hand and snap with the right hand, or tap. Most people tap the foot, which is fine. Snapping and clapping is a little harder while playing harmonica. So I always play the harmonica with my right hand and snap with my left hand, which is also like a little left-right brain thing. So yeah, you can definitely try that. Basically just playing a basic rhythm, a blues rhythm, But yeah, so this is the melody. And of course, if you play blues, maybe there will be another lesson where I'll get into blues more deeply. You gotta know your 12-bar blues. So that's a very essential thing for everyone. And if you want to play jazz, there's another essential thing, which is called the 2-5-1 progression, which is what I want to talk about a little bit today. So I'm just in the key of C on my C harmonica. So somebody's asking if I can play Gloria Such. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know who that is, but I gotta check that out. Please let me know if there's a song that I definitely have to check out and play on the harmonica. Okay, so the most basic thing you have harmony-wise in music. So we know the C major scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And from each of these notes, you can build a chord. If you build triads, that's very easy. You just skip one note all the time. So you have the C, the E would be the third of the C major chord. E, F, G would be the fifth. And that's very important for like popular music. And if we talk about jazz, we always, or most of the time, talk about chords that are made up of 4 notes. So we skip one other note, which would be the A in this case, and add the B. And what we get there is a C major 7 chord. And I hope you can hear the piano right now. So that's C, E, G, and B. That's the sound. It's very sweet and beautiful. So, C major 7. I can write that down and tab it out for you. So this is something for later. That's the D minor 7. But let me write down the C major 7 really quick, because we want to start with that one. So that's just 1, 2, 3 blow, 3/0 draw, which is the B. And then again, 4, 5, 6 blow, 7/0 draw, 7, 8, 9 blow. Then if you can bend the 10 hole, blow 1 half step down to B, and then you have another C. So that's the C major 7 arpeggio. let me know if you can hear the piano. So Luke is asking, what are some warm-ups you can do first thing to help know where all the notes on the harmonica are? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a big topic. Like, where are all the notes on this invisible instrument? After some time, it can develop into a feel thing. But yeah, so the basic is, we're starting with it right now. So if you have a C harmonica in your hand, all the blow notes are just a C major triad. It's C, E, G repeated over the whole instrument. And then you should learn about the draw notes. And we will get to that later as soon as we get into the other chords, which are part of just C major, the tonality. So you can check out this C major 7 arpeggio. And that's one of the first chords that's used in this tune too. So it's in C, the sunny side of the suite. Basically only playing the arpeggio notes in the melody, so that's C, E, G. And now we can move through the whole scale and build the 7th chords. So now we did it on C, E, G, B. But we can also start on D and build another 7th chord from there, 4-note chord, always skipping one note. So we have D, and then we're skipping the E, and then we have the F as a 3rd. In this case, it's a minor 3rd. Then we're getting to a G, we're skipping that, going to the A, the 5th of D minor 7. Then we have a B, skipping that, and then we have a C, which is the 7th of the chord. So if I play these together, I get the D minor 7 chord. I will also write that down. So maybe you have this on paper already. So I'm starting off on the D. That's 1-hole draw, 2-hole whole tone bend, 3-hole whole tone bend. That's the most difficult part of the harmonica to play this arpeggio in. 4-hole blow, and then we have an easy D minor triad and on holes 4, 5, 6 draw. 7-hole blow as the 7th. Again, only draw notes for the triad, 8, 9, and 10. And we can play the 7th on 10-hole blow. So, this is what it sounds like. Okay, so that's the sound. We can go through all the keys of the C major scale now and do exactly this. So let's go to E. And if we do that, we have an E, skipping the F, playing the G, skipping the A, playing the B, skipping the C, playing the D. So the E minor 7, that's E, G, B, and D. And if I write that down for the harmonica, these are the harmonica tabs. If you want to play the 5th in the upper octave, you can bend the 10-hole halftone bend. Yeah. Iron is asking if I promise if I'm doing the same live in future. I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah, I will do this like regularly on this channel every 2 weeks. So the next live stream will be in 2 weeks, but on Thursday. So this is a little exception today. So maybe you want to play the 10-hole halftone band. That's the E minor 7. And hey, Jefferson, welcome to the chat. So all the chords we're talking about now are the basic chords you would compose a jazz song with in the key of C. So we have 3 now. We have the C major 7, we have D minor 7, E minor 7. And if we're going to F, we get another major 7th chord. So F major 7. The F is our 2-hole whole tone band. We're skipping the G, playing the A. Then we're skipping the B flat, or the B. Playing the C. Skipping the D, playing the E. So we get F A C E. Yeah, that's right. So again, that's F A C E. And I can write it down for you in harmonica tabs. Starting on the root note, going up the whole instrument. So that's F major 7. The 4th chord. After that, we get to the G, and we are very comfortable with that. We know that very well. What we get there is a G dominant 7th chord. Starting on G, skipping the A, playing the B, skipping the C, playing the D, skipping the E, and playing the F. Actually something we can play as a chord on the harmonica, right? Just drawing through the instrument, playing holds 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's the key where we used to play blues in. So starting on that note, this is the whole arpeggio. Also here you can add the 10-hole halftone band. Okay, so that's G7. And with that, we already have the first 5 chords that are building up diatonically within the scale of C major. So with that, we can already build our 2-5-1 progression I was talking about earlier, which is the essential chord progression for every jazz musician. And it's basically the same as the 12-bar blues progression for the blues player. So we want to know about this. Just to complete this, we will also check out the chord that's building up from the 6th note of the scale and the 7th. So starting from A, we will get an A minor 7 chord, which is A, C, E, and G. And everything we do is only white keys right now. So starting on the root note, we play the 3-hole whole tone band, 4-hole blow, 5-hole blow, 6-hole blow, 6-hole draw, 7-hole blow, 8-hole blow, 9-hole blow, 10-hole draw, and 10-hole blow to play it through the whole instrument. Okay. That's A minor 7. So that's the 6th chord. And there's a 7th chord, which is not very commonly used. We did talk about that. If you are thinking about that chord scale relationship. So that would be a B minor 7 flat 5 chord. It looks weird, I know, but it's actually a chord we can play on the harmonica too, if we just draw holes 3, 4, 5, and 6 at the same time. Hey Lucas, great that you're here again. Yeah, I posted the link to the stream in the chat earlier, so maybe you can spread that. That would be fantastic. Maybe there are some other people who want to watch this. So starting from the root note, it's 3-hole draw, 4-hole draw, 5-hole draw, 6-hole draw, 7-hole draw, and we just go on. Also includes the 10-hole halftone bend. Oh yeah, there's a little mistake in there. I'm sorry. So that's a 10-hole draw. So that's the B minor 7 flat 5 chord. And now we have all the 7 chords that are derived from the C major scale. And now we are talking about 4-note chords, 7th chords, which are used in the song I played earlier, On the Sunny Side of the Street. And now we can get into 2-5-1 progressions in the key of C and playing jazz on the diatonic harmonica. So we know all of the arpeggios now. And I will also just give you an overview of that and yeah, create a little PDF I will post in the Facebook group, link below in the description box. If you're on Facebook, check the group out. We are also talking about future topics. And one thing I can tell you right now already, the next live stream in 2 weeks, but on Thursday, same time though, at 9 p.m. Central European time. I will be in Hamburg again, and Steve Baker will join me for the live stream. So we will do a little interview and stuff. Talk about how we met and how I was influenced by him. And yeah, you can maybe already ask questions. So I will just add a little tweet in the Facebook group so you can ask questions for Steve. So yeah, mark that in your calendar. Steve Baker's joining the stream in 2 weeks on Thursday. Okay, so I hope everything's clear up until now. Let me know in the chat if it's all right and we can go further. And please let me know if you have any questions. I want this to be as interactive as possible, and I answer every question that is music related. And I play every song you want, if I know it. So yeah. That's On the Sunny Side of the Street. So let's check it out. It's a 2-5-1 progression. So if we start on the 2 chord, if we remember correctly, that's a D minor 7 chord. That's the first chord that's played in a 2-5-1 progression in C. So I'll write it down again. That's the D minor 7. Also, it's incredibly hot here. The hottest day ever. It was 40 degrees today. I hope it's a little colder where you are. Okay, so we know that. Then we have the 5 chord, which is a G7. Thinking back. That's very easy for us to play. If we just draw holes 2 to 5. Oh, the tune from The Godfather. I can try that. Maybe the beginning. So that's G7. But actually, the Godfather would be a good thing to play in D minor. And thinking back about the arpeggio we talked earlier about, the 2-chord D minor. That's what I know. Something like that, right? So that's in the key of D minor. Oh, and I actually see that YouTube says the stream isn't working pretty well. Please let me know if you can see everything correctly and the video works. So I can also play that in different keys, but I can get to that in a different lesson. So that's the G7 chord, and the next chord we resolve to, that's the C major 7 chord, which is the 1 chord. Okay, that's weird. Good that the stream is okay. Please let me know if anything is wrong, because YouTube still says that is bad. So that's the 1 chord. Now we have these 3 chords, and if I play these after each other, I have the D minor 7, which is the 2 chord. Then I have the G7, which is the 5 chord, resolving to C major 7, which is the 1 chord. And this is the most basic jazz progression you can think of. So that's what it sounds like if you play like very, very simple melodies over this. Just playing melodies that contain the right keys of the keyboard. I'm only playing C major scale right now. And at this point, it doesn't sound jazzy, but we'll get to that, how to sound jazzy over this. I will play some just beautiful melodies over this little progression. I created a little backing track, which I can share with you later. And now let's slow it down a little. So that's D minor. That's G7, we can play the chord there. And that's C major 7. It's actually easy for us to play the chords here. Let me know if the audio mixes well. Looks like the backing track is a little loud. That might be a little better. That's 4-5-6 draw. That's 2-5 draw, and just blow. So it's D minor 7, G7, and the first exercise would be just to play, your most beautiful melodies in C over this. I can try to do this now. major arpeggio, only blow notes. Okay, so that's a little 251 sequence I will upload for you to the Facebook group, or maybe I can share it in a Dropbox or something. So I just played beautiful melodies over this, and this is a very standard jazz progression, but I didn't sound jazzy, right? So the first thing about jazz is you're playing a lot of long streams of eighth notes. So that's very different from playing blues, because in blues you're always talking about licks. That's a very common term, and maybe this is a blues lick. Something like this. And this is a very small idea, right? Something like this. Oder. Just small little licks after each other. But in jazz it's more common to play longer ideas and longer phrases. And that's something you gotta practice. It's weird to do that first. So if I set this to a slow tempo, so this is like 70 beats per minute right now. And now I'm actually only playing quarter notes over the whole thing without any break. That's important, without any break, and that's not common to do as a harmonica player playing blues mostly. So that's the first thing you should practice, really playing just quarter notes over this. If you can think about the arpeggios at the same time, I'll write them down for you and share them in the Facebook group. Then it would be great if you only play the arpeggio notes for this exercise. So I'm only playing D, F, A or C over D minor, and I'm only playing G, B, D or F over G7, and I'm only playing C, E, G, B over C major 7. So I hope this makes sense. Please let me know in the chat. That's your first exercise, and only stick to these arpeggios. So after this, if you're comfortable with the tempo, you can start to do eighth notes. This is your goal for playing jazz, to play steady streams of eighth notes. Let me do this over the 70 BPM thing here. But still, it doesn't sound like jazz, right? So we gotta add something to this to sound jazzier. Right now I'm playing steady streams of eighth notes, which is great, like the first portion of it. But another thing is, we were talking about all these scales in the stream 2 weeks ago, and most of the scales we know, they consist of 7 notes, right? So 7 notes. If I play a minor scale, that's 7 notes. If I play a melodic minor scale, all 7 notes. But if we want to play steady streams of 8 notes over something, we have space for 8 notes in a bar, right? So we gotta add 1 note. It's so weird that the scales have 7 notes and they don't come out evenly if you play them over a bar, right? So what you can call these are passing notes. And these are chromatic notes you just throw in between the arpeggio notes or the scale notes. So we have the one option to play scalar over this. We can play the C major scale all the time. No problem, it will sound very good. Then at the same time, we can think about the arpeggios a little more and focus on that. So that's very melodic. And if you combine these two, playing both scalar stuff and more melodic stuff using the arpeggios, that's very beautiful already too, because you guide the listener through the whole thing. If I play with these chords in mind over this loop, I could just play C major stuff. But it doesn't sound like the progression. I don't guide the listener through the chords. And if I incorporate the arpeggio notes, then I guide the listener, and you know where I'm going, even though you maybe don't know the exact chords I'm playing over. But I will try it right now, and let me know in the chat if it makes more sense for you and if you can follow along a little better. So I hope this was way more clear than the example I gave before. Victoria is asking, what do you suggest to work on harmony and time, to feel the time and to be able to make the changes correctly? How to train this part? To work on harmony and time. Yeah, there are like many different things to learn about rhythm. It's like you can think about smaller portions of rhythm, but also very big portions of rhythm, right? Like basically the rhythm of a chord progression, changing chords, and getting a feel for, okay, how long are 4 bars? How long are 8 bars, 16 bars, 12 bars, or 32 bars? And just getting a feel for that. And if you're playing on stage with a band and they are playing a 16-bar tune, you don't have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3. You just have a feeling for these 16 bars. That's an important thing, I would say, besides just the rhythm within 1 bar, for example, or like smaller subdivisions. So that's very important. And of course, if you have a song with a melody, the melody can guide you a lot through the song. And if you know the melody well, and I always sing melodies too before I start to work on a new tune, that helps a lot, because then you can play the melody in your mind and hear the melody in your mind while you're improvising or something, and maybe even incorporate the melody into your improvisation or something like that. So yeah. Also, I will just upload this backing track, so it's great to work on these basic harmonies with this. And just do a lot of basic stuff. I like to incorporate my voice, and you could just sing along or play along, just playing with the root notes, which is a big thing for your ear, good ear training. So we're starting with D, Bo, and then to G, G, 1, that's the C. To hear that already and just shift your focus from your playing to what's being played by the backing track or the band is very important. So I'm listening to the bass right now, and maybe or most probably you're not doing that too often if you're playing harmonica. You could also listen to the piano, which is not the best playing here in this sequence, of course, but there are different top notes of the piano you could also communicate with. So if the piano player is playing an A as a top note of the D minor 7, you can maybe also include that in your improvisation. I think that's a good thing. Incorporate your voice and also sing rhythms and tap them out. For time and rhythm, incorporate your body as much as possible. Snapping with your left and right hand, tapping your feet, and just dancing out rhythms. And don't feel stupid. It's the best thing you can do. So Lucas is also asking something different. Who's a good reference for listening outside of the harmonica world? I'm not sure. Maybe you're talking about jazz musicians, right? Someone with a sound that is closer to our musical vocabulary. Something to start with that jazz language. Well, I would listen to early jazz. But early jazz, which means like 1920, 1930. And this song, On the Sunny Side of the Street, is also a little older, before Charlie Parker and Bebop happened. So that's very important. And these guys earlier, they started out improvising without the connected thinking of, okay, this scale belongs to this chord. They don't have that scale-chord relationship and thinking. They much rather thought about the arpeggios of the chords, which we are talking about right now, or we were talking about in this lesson. Only playing that, and then adding the chromatic passing notes, which I want to get into, but I don't know if I can make it in like the last 10 minutes here. Maybe that's something for the next live stream. But again, the next live stream in 2 weeks on Thursday, that will be an interview and an interactive thing, just with Steve Baker joining me for the live stream. So you can already think of questions you want to ask Steve. I have many, but you probably do have too. I got to drink something. It's 40 degrees. But very early jazz. That would be the best thing to listen to. So I was answering all these questions. I don't know where we ended. This is the 251. And I was improvising over it, right? And I started to play steady streams of eighth notes. So that's the most essential thing you gotta get used to if you want to play jazz. Play without a break. That's a very long idea compared to a little blues lick. And even if you don't know about the arpeggios, you can just do that with the C major scale. Very easy. And this was the first phrase where I added a chromatic passing note to make the whole thing a little more colorful and sound a little more jazzy, and yeah, just make the 7 note scales come out evenly in our bar where we can fit 8 notes. So you could add, for example, the A flat to the C major scale, and then you have 8 notes. And now it's C. So that was C major with an added A flat. And this way, I came out evenly on the one of the next bar, which is a good thing. Actually, this scale has a name, but of course, people just played it, and then the theory was created afterwards. It's the major bebop scale. But it doesn't have to be the A flat. You can add any note to this. So we could add the D flat instead of the A flat. Works fine. There was the E flat, the fall overblow. Now I'm adding the F sharp. And then the only one that's missing is the B flat. Which is actually also called the Bebop Mixolydian scale. Already sounds way jazzier. So what I did is I already wrote down 2 little 2-5-1 phrases which incorporate these passing tones, these chromatic passing notes, and I would share that with you. I would just play them here real quick, these 8th note phrases. So this is what one of them sounds like. If I play it over the backing track. So I'm adding a chromatic passing note in every bar, and besides that I'm mostly playing arpeggios, and this way the phrase comes out evenly and sounds very coherent and easy to follow for the listener. So yeah. I can write it down for you right now, so I can leave you with this. That's too long for the screen, right? Let's try this. Yeah. So in the first bar, I'm adding the F sharp as a passing note. In the second bar, I'm also adding the F sharp in the lower octave as a passing note, making the chromatic connection between G and F descending. And then I'm resolving to C major. So over the chords, That's a very beautiful phrase. I can also try to play it in the upper octave. There you gotta play the 9-hole half-step bend to get the chromatic passing note. So that's the sound of a 2-5-1 phrase in major. We have 3 chords, going from the 2 chord D minor 7 to G7, which is the 5 chord, and resolving to C major 7, which is the 1 chord. So that's the most basic progression in jazz, and I will upload that stuff to the Facebook group, which is linked below in the description box. Would be fantastic if you join it. Would also be great if you share the group with other harmonica players who want to watch these streams. And yeah, I would share this little backing track, the little sequence for the 2-5-1 C major progression, and also the little phrases I made up, just like this one, but there are other ones, and also the arpeggios that are included here. So that's D minor 7, G7, and C major 7. So that's the material we covered today. So yeah, please let me know if this was helpful in the comments right now, in the chat. I wish there would be a little more questions for me within these live streams. So feel free to write anything you want into the chat. And yeah, I would love to hear your feedback on this. And the next live stream will be in 2 weeks, as I said, but on Thursday again. So same time, 9 p.m. And I will be back in Hamburg. I'm in Cologne right now. Tomorrow, 40 degrees again. I'm playing a concert outdoors. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, we'll see. And yeah, so in 2 weeks, back in Hamburg with Steve Baker together, doing a little interview, doing some playing and talking about how we met and Trossing and the Harmonica Festival and stuff like that. And yeah, I hope this was helpful. Please let me know. Please let other people know. And yeah, please ask questions in the chat. I answer everything. So I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks with Steve Baker. And thank you for tuning in. Let other people know about this and join the Facebook group. Have a good night. Have a good day wherever you are. Bye-bye.